Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is Rhonda Jones. I am MESSA's Health Promotion Consultant. Today is the first session of our Summer Wellness Series. We are talking about worksite wellness programs that really work. We have a couple of guest school district wellness teams joining us today on the platform. Let me tell you a little bit about what I do if this is your first time meeting with us. As the MESSA Health Promotion Consultant, what I do is I help school districts. This could be your association group. This can be an educational institution like a community college or university, or this can be a separate school building like elementary school group or high school group within a district that has a desire to create a work site that supports health initiatives or wellness initiatives. And it's about just creating a culture that helps people transform into what they see as their wellness goal or their health goal. And recently, I think this year, there's a lot of focus on mental wellness. And there's so much connected to mental wellness, so many things you can do at the work site during your workday that can help your colleagues, your coworkers, your employees help support their mental wellness. And much of it is tied into managing stress and practicing mindfulness, good nutrition and exercise. And I'll talk a little bit about that towards the end of this session based on our time. And I also would like to review some of our MESSA health and wellness benefits before we leave today. But first up, I want to bring our Grand Rapids. Glenda, are you ready for us? Our Grand Rapids Public School District, their wellness program. Glenda Hayden is here. She's our in-house social worker, but she's going to talk about some of the initiatives that she did in her group, the social workers in Grand Rapids did, to help support health and wellness in their area.
Thank you, Rhonda, for having me. I just want to give you a little bit of history or how we got connected with Rhonda, because I always think that's so important to know that background story. So I want to say probably now, back in 2013 or so, I got my little MESSA newsletter, as I always do, my little summer book that tells me all this great information. Then I saw a small article about worksite wellness. And I called MESSA, learned more about it. At the time, she had a partner that was assigned to our area. And who eventually put us in touch with Rhonda for some other worksite wellness trainings that she came down to Grand Rapids and to help us with it. The initiative, the desire for it came because came at a time in our career. We had over 60 school social workers in our district, and I want to say out of that 60, maybe 3 or 4 were out on leave, some medical, some mental health. And it became apparent that we needed to do a better job in caring for ourselves, not only looking at my colleagues, but looking internally. So when this couldn't have come at a better time, I went to several colleagues who I'll show you now, and say, hey, I got this idea, will you come alongside? And our supervisor supported us. And so with the big heart is Angelon, and then there's myself, then Diane, below Angelon with the heart is Molly, and then Kelly, and then we have Elmira, who newly joined our team. Yvette, is over in the lower corner, and the Noemi is in the purple. So this is our team of social workers, and I can tell you, we have built a family and a community of support, not just for ourselves, but for our colleagues who are not a part of the committee and the team, as well as to our greater district. We have colleagues, teachers, speech paths say, how can we get what you got? How do we know? So we decided for our 2021 year, in the height of the pandemic, that we would pull together a newsletter of resources to support others with all that's going on. So what we shared last year we shared last summer what our goals were, and then I'll share with you at the end our end result, our final product that actually went out. We discussed the Michigan Safe School 2021 Return to School Roadmap. And it went along nicely with what we were thinking and what Rhonda teaches in Worksite Wellness to help us cultivate a lifestyle of well-being. So several resilience strategies were shared with our colleagues. And we also like to highlight our mission, because we didn't want this just to be a team with no focus. So we got together early on back in 2013 and say, what's going to be our goal? So our goal is to promote mental, emotional, and physical health by providing fun facts and educational information on health, engaging in stress relieving activities, and providing outlets for our colleagues to experience support to each other, to strengthen our capacity to help our colleagues, students, and families. So we have done this by healthy meal planning, like we'll bring in black bean brownies as a healthy alternative to regular brownies, and just allow our colleagues to taste that and understand that, oh, wow, it does taste okay. We've done water challenges, we've done self-care challenges, walking challenges, squat challenges. We've do a challenge every year to encourage our colleagues to not only just learn about wellness, but some opportunities to apply it. So our goal for 2020 was to focus on the mental, emotional, and physical self-care by sharing information on how to recognize and respond to grief specifically. Because of COVID, we all were grieving. If it's just grieving the fact that life as we knew it, but knowing mostly everyone was touched where someone was impacted by COVID, either with a period of serious illness, if not death. So we didn't want to ignore that. So we highlighted the grief as well as the trauma. COVID was traumatic for everybody. It's no longer 1 or 2 students in the building or 10 or 20 students out of the 1,000 who've had traumatic experiences. We've all experienced the trauma of COVID, as well as we were not ignorant to the fact of the racial trauma that happened in our community with the murder of George Floyd. And then when we fast forward to January, we had to address the trauma that was happening in our society against our government system with the takeover in January. So we just like to stay abreast and not ignore what's really going on into our community, and make sure we're responding to the needs of our staff and our students. So we wanted to communicate a language of healing, not only for those that we serve, but also for ourselves. So our goal was by September 30th to have a Worksite Wellness newsletter in order, and I will share that with you as well. The areas we highlighted, our objectives were mental wellness. We were going to focus on managing stress, coping strategies, being productive. Then we had an emotional awareness component where we talked about that self-care, relaxation, gave tips on how to do that, right? The breath is always with us. So we encourage our students and staff to use the breath, even when they feel like they can't control what's going on around them. The breath is something we can control. We encourage some strategies on stress reduction, such as healthy sleeping, making sure that you're getting great nutrition. Rhonda just talked about water, right? Make sure you're not under drinking or over drinking. So make sure you're staying hydrated. So we talked about those preventative types of stress reduction tips as well. We talked about how to develop that inner strength, being attentive to both your negative and positive feelings and being comfortable with being with those feelings. And our third objective was the physical wellness that we talked about as well. Okay. So a lot of you may be familiar with ACEs, but just as a quick review and recap, we felt it was important for our staff and those that we serve just to be familiar with ACEs. So we talked about it, that we all have ACE scores, right? Even the adults in the building as well as the kids. We tend to focus on it as the adverse childhood experiences, but children grow up to be adults, right? So those experiences don't leave them. They carry those experiences. So just be mindful how COVID may have triggered some of that, or some of the things that we saw with the murder of George Floyd could have triggered a lot of childhood experience, adverse experience for even the staff that we serve. And I think that's important that we were sensitive to that, and we wanted to get in front of it as far as giving our staff some strategies for managing that. So I'm going to quick share with you our final product, which we were pretty proud of. And I really wish that we could take credit for the great turnout of this product, but we have to give credit where credit is due. One of our colleagues, Angela, happened to have a wonderful Michigan State intern who put it all together for us into this beautiful document. And what we encouraged our school social workers to do is to ask for a minute at a staff meeting, because every building has a social worker assigned to it. We shared it with the building principal and encouraged him to disperse it to staff. So that's how we know our newsletter got into every staff person's hand, or at least building, right? And so it's just a summary of some of the slides that I shared with you. We went over the Kubler-Ross grief cycle, and so people can have that when they're feeling like, man, I'm so angry. Let them know it's okay to be angry. That's a normal process of grief. But we don't want you to stay there, but we want you to acknowledge and be with those feelings and help you to grow from it. One of the things we were adamant about, because we're school social workers, to not just give people information, but to give them resources. So we listed resources in our community, such as LA's Place, which is also, I think, in the Ingham County area as well. Gilda's Club is something we have here in Grand Rapids that does a lot of grief support, as well as the Hospice of Michigan. We provided some trauma resources through Star Commonwealth. And the people were very excited about the resources. So we got great feedback on that. And then finally, we would not be part of Rhonda's wellness team if we didn't have a challenge, right? We've been doing it since 2013, so why stop now? So even in the midst of COVID, we did a quarterly wellness challenge, and we had our colleagues either sign up for a mindfulness challenge, a sleep challenge, and a water challenge. We kind of stayed away from the physical this time, because I think we all get caught up in wanting our summer bodies and our bikini bodies, right? But sometimes we need to just take care of the internal, the emotional. So we kind of focused on more of that with these challenges, and it was well received. We gave some ideas of some mindfulness activities that's really great on how to ground, and things that staff can do for themselves as well as for students. And we have experienced even seeing teachers using these resources and later saying, I needed it for that moment. So I just had the kids participate, but really it was something they did for themselves. So we are excited about this project and how it went forward. But you know, when you have a great year and you have a great success, it becomes the challenge on how do you do something exciting the next year. So we'll be looking forward for Rhonda's guidance, because she usually gives us our report card and we kind of guide from that as to where we will go with our next year's challenge and activities, and how we are going to service our colleagues for the 21-22 school year. But as always, Rhonda, thank you for this opportunity to share, and the resources Rhonda have access to. If you would like to get connected with that and see our newsletter, she can feel free to share it with you. Thank you.
That was great, Glenda. Great information. I hope everyone here I hope you were taking notes, because that was good stuff. I love the newsletter, and I love that you included the ACEs in that, because that is really significant now. We're all victims of some type of trauma, I would think, at this point, especially after the pandemic, as you mentioned. So thank you for sharing that information. And if anybody is interested in looking at that closer, Glenda said she's willing to share. So just let me know and I'll send out an email on that information. I wanted to highlight Glenda's team is an exceptional wellness team. It's a group of social workers. So their background is dealing with social and emotional and mental wellness. So they really were able to really target those different areas, and I like the way they did that. But they still included the physical wellness, so that was really good. And usually I capitalize off of the physical wellness because I love that, but I'm trying to focus more on supporting the mental wellness of our members. However, we know that physical activity and movement contribute to our mental wellness. There's a lot of studies out that support how exercise and movement help minimize the negative effects of depression and anxiety. It can complement any type of medicinal or pharmaceutical type therapy that we are using for depression or anxiety, or if we are at a subclinical state where we're not necessarily using medication yet, exercise and nutrition can be something that can help us. Next up, I have a group, a wellness team that did great this year, and I believe they've been working on wellness for a long time. Julie is here from Romulus, and she's going to share some of the initiatives that Romulus did this year, and kind of give us a clue on how to be successful in this area as well. Thank you, Julie.
Well, thank you for asking us to be here. Catherine Pearson is also here. I'm just gonna, she logged in as me, but I changed her name. So Catherine is a high school counselor, and I am a teacher. I'm an elementary school teacher. I do have a little bit of background, well, quite a bit of background in mindfulness training. Oh, there's Catherine, I can see her face now. So yeah, my passion's always been for health and wellness, and we just kind of, this is our first year actually of having a wellness team. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll present, but I'll just kind of speak a little bit about how we began. Let me see here. And it was very nice to see Glenda's presentation, just to kind of see where we can go. It was kind of exciting to see some of the same resources that we shared. I saw the trails, you know, different ways to help with wellness, and the newsletter is actually something that I'm hoping to look forward, you know, that we'll implement this year. So that was really kind of nice to see where we can go. So yeah, so our team was just formed in August, and it was in response. Rhonda, are we good? Can you see in my screen?
Yes, you are perfect.
Okay, great. So we formed in August 2020 in response to COVID and also the Michigan Safe Schools Plan. We just had an elementary facilitator, myself, and then Latoya, she was our secondary facilitator. She was the counselor at the middle, she's the counselor at the middle school, and our district data coach. And it was just kind of, our district was a little bit in transition. So it was just who was interested in this, and my name came up. And so I was part of the team, and very, very gratefully so. It's since evolved to include our new director of curriculum. And now we have a facilitator at the elementary level, the middle school level, and the high school level, which Catherine is the high school facilitator. And we have building representatives at each building. We do have 6 buildings, 4 elementaries, and middle school and a high school. And then we also, which I think was one of the shining stars, is we had some great district partnerships, obviously with MESSA. And it's funny how Glenda shared her story of how she got to be involved with MESSA. I'm a union representative as well, and I've gone to many of the conferences through MEA, and I happened to go to one of Rhonda's conferences. And so when I got involved with this team, I was like, oh, I know we can tap some very valuable resources. So I reached out, and Rhonda was very helpful from the very beginning. And it made our work so much easier, especially as a small district, to have those community partnerships and, you know, not have to reinvent things and use the resources that are already there. We also thought it was very important that we developed a mission, and we also figured out what the responsibilities of the team members would be. Latoya was very good at organization, and we worked together to create that. And we did meet monthly to kind of review how things were going, and then also, you know, decide how we could keep moving forward and evolving. And Catherine, anything you want to add? Feel free to chime in if there's anything you wanted to add about how you got involved or.
Yeah, no. So initially, when Latoya was there, like, there wasn't anybody at the high school level. One of our principals was kind of taking the lead on it. And she was asking, she wanted to step away because she was a principal. She wanted to step away and had asked the counseling team if one of us would be interested in kind of just taking it over. And I just agreed to it because counseling, it just makes sense. So there's 3 of us counselors at the high school level. And I'm actually brand new to the district. I literally started at the very beginning of COVID. So I'm brand new to the district in general, but I thought this would be a good thing for me to be a part of. So I'm glad I'm part of it.
Excellent. Yes. And then you had some very exciting things happen and went on maternity leave. So then we had a high school teacher kind of take over for the last few months, and then now you're back. So yes, it was excellent to have those leaders at each level to kind of see that happen at each level. So yes, we also had our mission. Our mission was to promote mental and social emotional health in our school community. We also wanted to implement mental health screening and monitoring for students through this trauma of COVID and the, everything that was happening in the world at that time. We needed to establish a chain of care for students at risk. Okay, so now we know that we've got some students at risk. How are we going to service them? A lot of our initiative was to develop wellness lessons this year for staff and students, share wellness information, resources and tips and strategies to parents and the community. So that was our initial mission. Some successes and highlights that we had. Again, Latoya was instrumental in creating some organization, and a shared Google Drive was wonderful. Basically, we would refer our staff and eventually our community members as needed to resources that we could share via links to the Google Drive. We decided on a theme of Wellness Wednesdays, and that was to kind of teach the students the social emotional competencies, self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. We thought obviously are always important, but especially important at this time when dealing with so much change. One thing that we really, similar to the newsletter that Grand Rapids developed, but we had an online website resources workbook that we sent out to community members as well as shared with educators, so that if someone did have a specific need, whether it was basic needs, technology, which was a huge learning curve for everybody, or any social emotional concerns, we had a whole database of local resources that they could, have the phone number to, website links, things like that, which we believe was utilized quite a bit. We'd used lots of surveys, and we planned and led some wellness activities at different buildings, depending on who was coordinating those. And then, which was really gave us good feedback, was the partnership with MESSA. We were able to gather some data about what the staff needed, because I think we started out with a focus on the students, but as Glenda mentioned as well, we sometimes realized that the teachers or the staff needed it more than or just as much as the students. We also found that it was really important for our staff to know what was available, what type of support was available to them through MESSA and their healthcare coverage. And then we implemented our first challenge as well, which is pretty exciting. Some of the wellness activities that we led for the staff, just a simple, encouragement note in a mailbox, or, thoughtful notes, just, saying you're great, you're doing a great job, hang in there. At one building, they did yoga on mindfulness a monthly, I believe. We have some, great experience and strengths in our district. And so people that felt comfortable leading those things would volunteer. We'd solicit, people to help with that. Simple things like music, dancing at a staff meeting. There was a video challenge at one building of what's the funniest meme or the funniest video. We always like food, probably could be a little bit healthier, but we always like little treats and things like that. So we had community members treat us to, special treats at staff meetings, things like that. Someone did a paint and pour, with your non-alcoholic beverage, and they painted ceiling tiles in the school as kind of just like an after school, stress reliever. I believe at the middle school, they did some gratitude journaling. And then some ideas that were mentioned, but that we did not actually do was massage, getting a local chiropractic clinic or something in for massage. And then I was thinking that also it would be good to have a quarterly newsletter or a monthly newsletter where we would share these strategies. Catherine, anything that you wanted to add for that?
Not specifically, but I do know our curriculum director has her own newsletter, and I know she added like wellness stuff into that. And I know that was shared district-wide.
Yeah,
I think that's month she started. So we hope to build off of what she's started and like obviously focus more on the wellness piece of it. But yeah, I think that's a great way to just get the message out there. Because with our families, it's, anything that we can just share with them, I'm sure they appreciate. So we just like to just like, here's the information. If you want it, take it. If you don't, then fine. But at least it's there so we can reference it if needed.
Well, and also too, we since we did Wellness Wednesdays, we adopted like a theme every month. Like this month, a certain month was self-awareness. And so it would be good if we, if we continue that to share that with staff as well. They access the student resources very well. And again, that was our focus. But it would be really nice to, provide those same type of wellness activities and planning for staff. And so I just wanted to kind of highlight some of the things that MESSA and Rhonda, obviously, especially helped us with. She set us up with helping us send out a district-wide survey for all of our staff. And what we found from that, and I don't know if I want to open this up, but the data that came back in, she's already has it all set up for you. And you can modify it as needed, but we looked over what she came up with and we thought these were great questions. And so and then they provide you with the data right here. So that was just wonderful. And this is the kind of the data that we looked at each month, and we're able to kind of reflect and be like, oh, this is what our staff needs. What we found was that the majority of our staff did not know about all of the MESSA health and wellness benefits. So that was something that we needed to, be a little bit more proactive in educating them about. Online services, mental health services. And then we were able to find out that their top concerns were weight. 73% of the people that responded said that weight was a concern, and then stress management. And again, some of these things are not surprising, but it's nice to have the data to kind of support that, these efforts are worthwhile and attending to what our staff needs. And then we also were able to ask some questions about how would they like programming? How would they like assistance with those, concerns? And surprisingly, a lot of people, at least it was surprising to me, wanted a 15-minute health-themed webinar at a staff meeting. They would be interested in that. And then we also noticed that a lot of people wanted that health challenge. So that kind of gave us the confidence to move forward, knowing that we were helping them in areas that they needed. So because of this and to address this need, we were able to have a lunch and learn, which Rhonda was very flexible, and we decided to do ours on the day of our parent-teacher conferences. We have a little bit of a gap. And so we thought, well, we could provide lunch for our teachers and staff, and then they could also learn a little bit about how they can, gain access to some valuable health and wellness benefits. It was a little rushed, so I don't necessarily know if that was the best choice on our part, but you got to just start somewhere and launch out and, learn from things. But the information was very beneficial. We got a folder for each person with all these important resources for them to access. We did one at the elementary level, the middle school level, and the high school level. And then Rhonda was able to introduce our movement challenge and get, people were able to sign up. And then something that was brand new that I've since looked at quite a bit, and I know that our staff has mentioned it in their staff meetings and things like that, our building representatives, is the My Stress Tools information on the website, which the MESSA website, which I think is, I've taken the health assessment tool and the stress tool, and then it kind of gives you like some suggestions about where to go from there. And I've looked into the mindfulness tools, and I'm already thinking about how I can, maybe we could do a mindfulness challenge and ask them to use these resources, and then maybe come together as a community in once a week and talk about what we learned and how it's helpful. So I just put a star by that because we did not use that very well, that much this year, but I'm excited about the possibilities of that. And then finally, we did a movement challenge, which for us, we were teaching virtually most of the year. We went back in March, and again, we were in and out. And so we felt like a lot of us had just been sitting for a long time. So to just get up and move was just a nice way to kind of, take care of our physical health as well as our mental health. The movement challenge, easy registration. We chose a Caribbean island theme just to kind of get us out of the dreariness of the winter. People were talking about beating that bunny, and you try to get so many steps a day, encourage movement. But what I also surprisingly noticed is encourage people to get out of their rooms and walk at breaks and things like that, and connect with one another again, because we had been so separated, either in our homes, teaching in our homes, or then now when we got to the classroom, teaching just in our classrooms and not really being out and about as much, keeping our distance. And it was just nice to be able to see each other, talk about, oh, how are your steps doing today, and get out. And then they've also provided prizes, these amazing prizes that I was able to drop off at different buildings for people that won different challenges with, it was a sports bag and a water bottle and stress reducing techniques and things like that. I did it. I got me up off my seat, and it got me motivated to now even continue being healthier in the summer, is get familiar with the app. I don't have a Fitbit or anything like that. So that was a little bit of a learning curve. And then I would probably be a little bit more proactive and like chattering on the challenge, and kind of really maybe getting that social media connection as well. Catherine, any comments about the survey, the lunch and learn, or the challenge? Catherine? Oh, I don't know if I can.
Did she mute? Is she here? I don't see her anymore.
Oh, maybe we lost her.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I think she's re-entering right now. She might have got kicked out. I had another Julie come into the waiting room, so that must be her.
Oh yes, yeah, I had her.
Great job with this, Julie. Lots of great information. You have more?
Oh, I just had, yep. And so this is our first year, and we're very, very proud of our efforts, and we do believe that we've helped a lot. So just some helpful tips, and we're very excited to move forward. I think we found the right people who are really passionate about getting this message of wellness and taking care of one another. So I would definitely suggest getting passionate individuals who really want to lead and participate in these in this effort. Definitely do surveys, assess what people need, check your assumptions. We learned, and it seems like the social workers saw this as, when people are taking leaves and things like that, we saw that we were focused on our student needs at first, but really we needed to attend to the staff needs first, or just as equally, so that the people that take care of the students are also taken care of. As caregivers and people in the helping profession, sometimes, we have to be reminded of that. Start simple, and anything you start is good. Stay organized and just kind of go with the flow and evolve. And definitely partner with MESSA and any other community organizations, mental health centers, maybe perhaps gyms, anything like that. Like I said, doctors, chiropractors, to, really bring that community feel and help you and help support your efforts as you teach and start this Worksite wellness program. So that's all I had. Is Catherine back? She said her computer died. She's restarting. Is she back in?
I'm here, but it says your name still.
Oh, okay.
The link you sent me.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. I don't have
Oh.
anything to add though, but I'm here.
Okay. Okay. And there's our information if anybody does need to contact us for further questions. But just want to thank you again, Rhonda, for help supporting us. And, you know, we'll continue. We look forward to continuing the partnership.
Absolutely. Thank you for reaching out. I'm honored that I could participate with what you were doing, that you included me. Such a great job. I love how you brought out the survey. Usually when I'm talking about Worksite Wellness, I encourage people, I mean, you could start a Worksite Wellness program because we know most people are stressed. Most school employees don't get enough activity. We know most adults are not eating right, but if you want to customize your program, you can start off with a survey. And Julie brought that out so well because it kind of gives you a snapshot of what people are thinking. You knew right away that people, a high percentage of your group didn't know about MESSA's wellness benefits. So of course, if you present that as an activity or an event, it's more likely that people will attend because it is definitely something that you have information that they don't know about. So that tie-in is so great, especially, you know, most of us in here love planning things, and sometimes we move forward without asking our audience. So the survey is always the best way to start. And yes, for anybody here on the platform, if you need help with the survey, I have a ready-made one. We have a template that you can customize, you can add to it, or you can take away, and it's easy to send out to your group and find out what are some things that they want to do, and that can inspire you and or your program planners on what to do for this upcoming school year. So we have that. I just want to share a couple things with you while I have you. Let's see, find my, so glad you decided to spend lunch with me. Some things about Worksite Wellness, just for today. Our toolkit, okay, it's on our website, www.mesa.org. If you go there and go to health resources, and you'll find a link to a toolkit. And our toolkit has everything you can do or need to do to start a Worksite Wellness program. So you can jump off this platform, get that toolkit, and start preparing for the school year. There's activities, there's campaigns you can do. If you want to help promote MESSA to your members, for many groups right now, open enrollment will begin in October. So you can start getting that information out about MESSA's health and wellness benefits, because often a lot of our colleagues don't know about those benefits until they need them. So this is a great way to inform them right before enrollment. So even some of the flyers are available in there. You heard Julie mention about My Stress Tools. We have flyers for that and information about that in the toolkit. And with the toolkit, I make creating a Worksite Wellness program easy, because instead of focusing on the problems, there's so many problems to address. There you have chronic conditions like diabetes. You have issues with resistance and engaging in preventive care. So you want to educate people on that. You have issues with people like with mental wellness. So instead of listing out all the issues, I provide the answer. And the answers are, it's a three-pronged approach: mindfulness, movement, nutrition. And actually, I'll say a four-pronged approach: MESSA, mindfulness, movement, nutrition. So that information is in the toolkit. Go download that. Again, mindfulness, movement, nutrition, it basically addresses any situation you have. It can help you if you are having issues. You know, right now, socially, I say things are unpredictable, and that's a stressor. So mindfulness, movement, nutrition can help address issues when it comes to social wellness, and whether, you know, a lot of people are still kind of isolating themselves, and a lot of us are getting out and being social. All those things can be stressors, so we still need to address what people can do or what they should do, or encourage people to still engage, and you can still do that and keep a distance if necessary. You know, all those are issues. that we're all dealing with today. So mindfulness, some things you can do, like Julie mentioned that Wellness Wednesday, and I capitalize off of that Wellness Wednesday with our own headquarters Worksite wellness program. It's easy to use letters like that. And you can do so many things with the day of the week. Mindful Monday, Tough It Out Thursday, Feel Free on Friday. And you can use all those types of themes to help you move a campaign forward. And it can be very simple. Julie and Glenda are like 5-star Worksite wellness programs. You can have something as comprehensive as what they did, and the way they explained it, it was very easy. Or you can be very basic and just send out a message. If your wheels are turning in your mind right now, you're trying to think, what can I do in September? It could be a simple message on Wednesday or a simple tip on Monday, and you have a wellness program. If you have not, make sure you log into my MESSA portal and check out my stress tools. There is a resiliency program in there. Our Stop Stress This Minute book is available there. And within that book, there's tips that you can do to help manage resilience. And when I'm talking about resilience, I'm talking about preparing yourself for future stressors, preparing yourself mentally, physically, emotionally. There are things you can do now. So that may be something you want to start the school year off with, a 30-day resilience challenge. And you're basically providing a tip a day or a tip a week to help people build resilience, help your coworkers build resilience. The second of the 3-pronged approach is movement. And I preach this everywhere I go. And you know what? I can't think of anything else that needs to be added to it. Mindfulness, movement, nutrition. Movement is not necessarily exercise, but making sure that we're not sitting too much, making sure that we are engaging in activity. And it could be as simple as starting a garden. I was just talking about how I started a garden this year. I wanted to do it last year. I had an opportunity to do it this year because a friend of ours was willing to dig up the ground for us. So I got a little garden in the back with tomatoes and cucumbers. I have some squash and some collard greens, and I'm just so proud of just the accomplishment. And I tell you, the day I went out there and worked in it, it's a lot of work cultivating a garden. The next day, I felt like I was in a CrossFit competition. My body was so sore, my hamstrings, my core. So I'm telling you guys, gardening is the original exercise. It is the real deal. Respect gardeners in the world. I feel like hashtagging that because that is real exercise. So just simply gardening is movement. And then there is kind of multiple therapies or wellness principles within gardening, because there is research on how just getting out in the ground, it helps your immune system. It helps your microbiome, your own personal gut bacteria. And there is this thing called just grounding in the earth. And there are people out there researching the correlation between us getting away from being out in the garden, in the ground, and outside in nature, and us being more connected to technology. What is that doing to our health? And I just personally, my personal testimony, this is subjective data to this research, is that I feel so much better after while I'm in the garden and after being in the garden. It brings a peace to you. So I recommend, if you are thinking about movement and you know how I push exercise and you're like, Rhonda, I'm sick of push-ups and bicep curls, try getting out in nature. Just go sit in the grass or go sit in the dirt. And it definitely contributes to improvement in your mental wellness. And last but not least, nutrition. They work together and they support us mentally and physically, because we need the nutrients in the food. So some things you can do with your colleagues for nutrition: a 21-day mindfulness eating challenge. And that's just about, again, you are partnering with that mindfulness principle, bringing it with the nutrition. So you're not only being intentional about selecting healthy food when you eat, not all healthy, but balancing it out. I'm chiming into Abby's thinking, because I know she's like, when I'm talking about healthy eating, she's like, Rhonda, but what about the chocolate? I'm including the chocolate, Abby. It's balanced. But not only healthy food selection, but savoring your food and focusing on the meal and being mindful while we're doing it. That is an activity you can share with your colleagues. Easy to do. I heard Glenda talk about how eating, they all incorporated nutrition or eating within their Worksite wellness programs. That is a big deal, not just for school employees. Everyone loves to eat. So that's a great way to engage people in the program. I'll tell you, at headquarters, our wellness team started a recipe challenge. So every month they have a different type of recipe that they are soliciting people to send in their recipes, and we judge them. Now, when we are back at headquarters face to face, I'm sure I'm a judge. I'm sure as a judge, I'll get to taste test all this stuff. But right now, I can only review recipes and give my judgment. And every time my mouth is watering and I want to replicate these recipes. But that's a fun way to engage people in wellness and to create community. Whether you are working virtually or brick and mortar, food brings people together, and it's a great way to pepper in some wellness in that. So recipe exchanges, newsletters. Glenda had a stellar newsletter she shared with us, and just sharing recipes. Say, for instance, you decided to do an electronic newsletter every month or every quarter, and you just want to put information on a healthy recipe, perhaps a healthy movement, and perhaps a tip on stress management or mindfulness. 3 simple things, 1-page newsletter or 1-page email, send it out to your people. If you have someone that is talented in graphics and design on your wellness team, they might want to make it pretty for you, but I guarantee you it's not necessary. People nowadays are looking to read a couple tips on the email and continue through their inbox. So you're just kind of sowing seeds towards their wellness, and it's easy to do. Easy to do. Some other things, online lunch gatherings or in person, on-demand fitness classes. I teach a virtual exercise class early in the morning, and I just make it free for the online community, and we just get on and we exercise for 45 minutes, and it's easy to do. You may have someone in your district that wants to do that for your colleagues, that wants to put on a yoga class at noon or at the end of the day. And now that we are confident in doing things virtually, you can do it on site or you can do it virtually, and people will still come. If you build it, they will come. Now, some of our MESSA resources. You want to know who your MESSA field rep is, and I have Abby here on the platform. They can help you with any questions you have about your MESSA benefit, your disability benefit, anything that has to do with MESSA. That's your go-to person, and they are there to talk to you personally and give you information. They're there with you during your enrollment and anytime throughout the life of your MESSA membership to answer any questions for you. Our member service people, our member service center is an award-winning member service center. So if you have questions again about your benefits and you want to talk to somebody, there's always somebody there to answer. And also there is an online chat service available in your My MESSA portal that you can contact them. Anytime you have questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. I'll check it. Our case management program, again, why am I bringing this up for your Worksite Wellness program? This is a perfect way. Your Worksite Wellness program is a perfect way to inform your colleagues about how MESSA can help them. Those benefits that sometimes people don't turn the page and read about. You know, we don't advertise. You've never seen a billboard for MESSA or a commercial. So some things you have to turn the page to find out about, and we don't want your colleagues to miss this information. So it's a Worksite Wellness program is a great way to disseminate it. Our case management programs, those are for our members that are experiencing chronic conditions like asthma, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes, as well as catastrophic conditions. That's our medical case management program. So we have nurses at headquarters that are there for you or your dependents if you have these conditions or you are going through a catastrophic situation. What is catastrophic, Rhonda? Well, I define it as a medical situation that requires you to have to see several specialists. multiple providers, multiple specialties, perhaps expensive medical equipment, expensive pharmaceuticals, okay? You are very much involved in the healthcare system from the beginning, let's say emergency room, to the end, long-term care. And it can be confusing for you as the caregiver. It could be burdensome. It could be scary. So we provide an advocate, a nurse that is your advocate to help you navigate the healthcare system. And what they do is they are partnered with the nurses in the office. The nurse in the office helps to manage and explain the benefit, and the case manager in the field is on location with you in your area, okay? So they can even visit with your doctor. They can attend the medical case management meeting regarding your loved one. So they kind of are, they help advocate for you, and that helps you manage the situation, which can be stressful. That's the type of information that you can send out to your colleagues as a part of the Worksite Wellness program. And I can help you with that information. Your field rep can help you. Also, again, the flyers are in the Worksite Wellness Toolkit that you can disseminate. Again, information about our online services, especially our online doctor visits, that you can also get mental health visits from a counselor, a therapist, a psychologist, and a psychiatrist in a convenient, private manner. So we are still offering that. That's still a part of our benefit. Amada and Lavongo. Now, these are perfect as a part of a Worksite Wellness program, is informing your colleagues. You know, we've all, let's see, for all the 2020, we were kind of locked in our homes with potato chips, pop, and under stress. So that was a great petri dish for diabetes and hypertension, sugar and stress, and food and stress. So Amada is a program that helps members that are at risk for diabetes. You haven't been diagnosed yet, but your doctor says you're at risk. You go to your doctor's appointment, they weigh you, they do your blood sugar, and they say, okay, you got to start eating right. You got to start moving more because your blood sugar is getting close to where, or your A1C to where you are going to be considered type 2 diabetes. And MESSA, we're very serious about helping our members fight chronic disease because we know that it can be physically can be a burden and also financially. So if we can help delay the onset of diabetes or totally prevent it, we're going to do it. So that's why we brought on Amada. And I think it's been about 2 or 3 years now, and we've had so much success with it. We get so many reports of how people are losing weight, because basically that's the goal. If you can lose weight, that'll lower your A1C. So the goal with Amada is to help you manage stress, learn about managing stress, learn about how important exercise is, and motivate and encourage you to do it, and learn how to make good eating selections. So that nutrition part, you are given a health coach that you work with. Okay, it's digital, so it's also virtual. And then you're put in a group of people that you can share with, and you all encourage each other, and you meet, and you do this virtually as well. This is free for MESSA members that are eligible. Again, this is great to send out to your Worksite Wellness people. Lavongo is a program for members that have already been diagnosed with diabetes. Now, your go-to is our MESSA nurse, who is a certified diabetes educator, and she is at the top of her class, and that her name is Rachel, and that's through our case management program for diabetes. Lavongo can also be helpful. It's digital. They send you a glucometer to help you or your loved one monitor your diabetes. But we wanted to make sure we are targeting chronic disease support in every way possible. Like I said, that we are passionate about helping our members either manage a chronic disease if you already have one, or help delay the onset or prevent it if you're at risk. That is what our wellness target is about. OVIA, again, this is a wellness as well. This is for our families and those who are expecting. This is, again, another resource that you can promote as a part of your Worksite Wellness program. And My Stress Tools are located in your My MESSA portal with the health risk assessment. This is something that you definitely want to expose your members to. If you are interested in doing a resilience challenge or resilience activity at the beginning of the year, let me know. I'll be doing one with districts and I'll be sending out the emails. So all you need to do is sign your folks up, and I'll be sending out group emails, and we'll be walking through the beginning of the school year, learning about how we can be resilient throughout the year. Very simple activity that I'll be doing. So let me know if you're interested in that. Don't forget our online tools. Our MESSA web page is always there for you with information. Our chat, you can find out about your MESSA field rep. Any information you need to know about MESSA and you're sitting in the office just scrolling through the internet, go to our website, check that out. Log into the MESSA portal. You can see what your benefits are, but you also can log in and do the health risk assessment and check out My Stress Tools. Again, this is a great way to expose your members to it. Just sending out information about MESSA on the web. Go check them out. We are on Facebook. Follow us. Any events I'm doing will be on our Facebook page. And we also give out great wellness tips there. Twitter, tag along with us on Twitter, Instagram, and this particular recording will be on our YouTube channel, and anything we've done in the past is going to be on our YouTube channel. So our last conference we did in April is there. The one before that is there, and our speakers, you can catch their recording there. Now, so you know, this is the first session this summer I'm doing. Please share the email that you got about future sessions. So coming up on Wednesday, July 7th, put on your workout clothes, bring your resistance band, your 2-pound, 3-pound weights or whatever, no weight. Join me at noon. Let's do a noon workout. Let's move with MESSA. I'll show you some strength moves you can do, some body weight moves. I'm expecting that we're going to do it together. Okay. So I'm hoping I'll see your camera on and we'll be getting a little summer workout. It's not too late to get in shape for the summer. I don't care. I will go until there's no longer any heat. I'm going to work on my summer body until October at least. I'm gonna give it a good try. Okay, come join me on July 21st. I'm bringing back Deb Timmerman. She came and joined us last year and talked about the science of heart math, and it's a way that just a philosophy, a science that shows us how to manage stress in a different way. Come hear part 2 of that, and that's July 21st at noon. August 4th, as we get close to returning to work, I'll have Luke Seward here. He's our friend from Colorado, global health and wellness expert. He's going to talk about coping with change at work. That is August 4th at noon. Come check us out. Send your colleagues, send your association, your coworkers, because we all need to know how to cope with whatever our normal is going to be. We'll all be walking into something new. So please join us on that date. And then on August 11th, we'll be talking about My Stress Tools. We're going to explore that a little more. I'm bringing the founder, the creator of that platform, and he's going to talk about stress, managing stress, and we'll talk about My Stress Tools. He also is the author of Maximizing Mindfulness. That's a book. And Stop Stress This Minute. I'll be giving away books during this session, and we'll have giveaways during all the sessions. So I do encourage you to tell all our MESSA friends to join us during these sessions at lunchtime. And you that joined us today, you'll be getting a little treat from us, a giveaway. And we thank you so much for joining us. Are there any questions, any comments? Abby, is there anything you'd like to share? Any information? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but any good news you could tell us about MESSA, about what you're doing, about anything we need to know about MESSA?
Oh, goodness. First, I want to say to those of you that shared, thank you. I don't do a lot of the wellness programs because I'm doing the field work. So it's really good to hear what you're doing in your buildings, in your districts for your members. And that helps me talk about it to my people. So thank you for giving me all of those great ideas. You are inspiring that you are doing these things for yourselves, for your colleagues. It just takes that one spark to then run with it and do some really good things in your life. So thank you for that. As you get into your fall back to school times,
It's going to be here before you know it, friends. Know that your MESSA friends are here to be there with you in that transition back to school. So any opening day meetings, beginning of the year meetings, association meetings, district meetings that you think it'd be useful to have MESSA there, even just to say hi and let people know that we're there as a resource, let us know. We are more than happy to be a part of that as you're thinking about getting back to school. And just thank you all for being here, period. I know this is taking time out of your summer to be here, and thank you so much. And to Rhonda, I love you. I promote you wherever I can. I was just at SVSU yesterday working with a potential new group, and we talked intensely about wellness and the great things that Rhonda does to help spur our members to do even better for themselves. So thanks, Rhonda, for that. And thank you, members, for being here.
Thank you, Abby. Great wrap up. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of the day. And hopefully I'll see you at our next summer wellness session. Bye-bye.